Thank you, Professor Wishman. Thank you for your kindness in letting us be among the first ones to present due to some busy schedule. Also, I would like to extend our compliments to the rest of the organizers. It's a remarkable and very important initiative. We would like to be there in person, but unfortunately, this has been an alternative. So I don't know if you are able to see the screen. I'm trying to share with you. Let me just check here, or maybe I can ask Fernando. Fernando, could you please share with us?
We are not seeing it yet.
I think
Yeah.
Fernando is almost completing. Yeah. So basically, starting with the title, Fernando, could you please put, yeah. So our presentation is based on what we call China's Orwellian society. I'm not seeing the title, but it should be in the beginning. Maybe Fernando will put, yeah. This is my co-authors, distinguished Professor António Tavares and dear Nasim Mosavi and Fernando. The title is China's Orwellian Society in the Making, and we will be focusing on the security dimension of the digital Silk Road. Why we do this, Fernando, you can change please the slide, because we believe that there has been a lot of academic works, research on I would say the Belt and Road Initiative, which comprises both the land and maritime corridors, and also um, um, and also how this impacts on fostering China's momentum and influence abroad. But when it comes to the third and most recent corridor of the so-called Belt and Road Initiative, which is called precisely the Digital Silk Road, this has been the object of less attention. Also because this was the most recent corridor to be announced by China. Contrary to the first two corridors, it has been only released in 2015. So that explains to a certain degree why there has been less production on the digital Silk Road, and even less production on uh, assessing the security impacts of this digital Silk Road in terms of creating the so-called Orwellian society, which we believe to be the gap addressed by our research. And then, Fernando, because our time is short, you can move to the next slide, please. So basically, our research question is this one: how does the digital Silk Road contribute to creating a surveillance state in China and abroad? Because my co-authors will mention, China is creating inside its social credit system, but there's also implications abroad because it's already trying to export this kind of technology. Our time frame is precisely from 2015 to the present, and that is quite obvious because we hear a lot of controversial issues regarding Huawei, um, and we will hear more in the future, because in our view, Western world has not enough um, capacity to cope with China's 5 and even 6 and 7G currently. But this will be and is already the future. So it's a matter not only of geoeconomics, but also of geopolitics. And this, as we have been witnessing, um, this has security implications. So, uh, Fernando, you can move to the next slide, please. We believe another added value of this investigation, this research, is that we argue that net politic that sees internet, the cyber domain, is becoming obsolete. We are used to hear about internet, the commercial view of internet, liberalism, the world based on altruism and a positive view. But there's also, I would say, a hidden aspect in China's digital Silk Road, which has to do not necessarily with net politics, with liberalism, but more with what is called realism. Therefore, we argue that digital politics is being right now the present and the future, a future that is not only limited to net politics. So basically, we are seeing states, and in this specific case, China, using the internet field, the cyber field, cyber domain, to do what realism defends, to promote its interests in a hybrid way through civil and military, and we will see more in the future. And this has huge implications for even monitoring citizens' behavior. So basically, that's our claim. And now I will give the word to Nasim, which will go into the details, but also respecting, of course, our time.
Thank you very much, Professor Paulo. So China, with over 1 billion internet users and massive adoption of advanced technologies such as AI and quantum computing, has been transformed to a cyber leader. Based on that, Chinese government has given a specific attention to data as a fundamental strategic resource in China. So focusing on creating data centers, data collection policies, and security and privacy is significant in order to secure the economical and military benefit, also political and social aspects. Next slide, please. The social credit system is a project which is a consequence of digital transformation process in China. So applying sophisticated surveillance and monitoring in order to track people inside China and provide scores which strongly influence the quality of living inside China, like, for example, facilitating the loan or job opportunity for individuals. So the main objective of the social credit system is to track people and to make them accountable for their actions. Next slide, please. Golden Shield project is a project released in 1998 in order to facilitate the police operations in China, provide a network of CCTV, and it's another project using surveillance system in order to detect and monitor people's action. And also it's expanding the social aspects. And for example, the Great Firewall of China is as a project for censorship and filtering the internet, again, in order to monitor and control, in fact, the flow of information. And the main goal of that is to create a local internet culture inside China. And next slide. So based on this policy, Xinjiang is a very sensitive topic. It's a sensitive border area. In fact, is a showcase and test environment for China, using maximum number of surveillance and applying big data policy and using artificial intelligence technology in order to apply more restriction and more monitoring on people's action, which really raise a lot of international attention in terms of human rights and ethical issues. Another example of using surveillance and big data policies in China is in the time of COVID, when in fact the surveillance could detect the temperature of people and divide them and group them based on the health status. So provide a specific code or color in order to different people based on the health status. So some projects like this shows how China is take advantage of advanced technology in order to apply more control and monitoring and people in along with the political and the social aspects. I think I'm going to pass this presentation to my colleague. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. Following Nasim, I'm going to start to do is exploring the digital Silk Road abroad China. And I will elaborate a little bit on this, uncovering a vast impact on the global landscape. Firstly, I want to examine a little about the China Belt and Road Initiative stretching far beyond the borders, as this digital network shapes the world in profound ways, because the technology that China is bringing abroad is starts to connect with the countries from the especially for us, the countries on the west, and they China started to try to lock them in contracts in a way that the technology advances like 5G networks, now 6G starting in satellites as systems such as Baidu, belonging to China, make those countries dependent on the Chinese decisions. Now I want to talk a little bit about the players, those private players that a little change that have started on China in 1912. I'm sorry, in 2012, then 2015 start to change to the private sector, and this private sector they created a huge companies that to export this the role of China, or the power of China across the world. The example that we are studying started with Huawei, because the impact that had with the 5G, and Baidu and Casco. Huawei is a leading player in China telecommunication industries, and we had an huge impact on the global when they started a global expansion with the 5G networks, and even USA and in Europe noticed that some unauthorized access to sensitive information was compromising our security. Sorry. Next, Baidu is a China navigation satellite system that competes with our GPS and the GLONASS in offering.
Fernando, sorry to interrupt you. You have 1 minute to finish your presentation, okay?
Oh, sorry.
You
Then
can add
okay.
something in the end.
Sorry.
Thank you for
Okay,
your
I
time.
go ahead, and then the Baidu would be the problem with the system of satellites and Costco. That's a China Ocean Shipping Company. Then you have like a global market, connecting global market marine. I have to pass then because I would talk a little.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, Fernando, I suggest moving now to
Okay,
Professor
I'm gonna-
Tavares,
Yes.
and I have here the updated
please.
PowerPoint. Let me give me 1 second. So the conclusion,
Okay.
you can see, right? Professor Tavares, you have to unmute your
I
sound.
made my compliments to the organization, and in a quiet moment, what we have here about is the control and the spread of information, and also the biggest markets that we have here for military use and civil use. And you can see in this moment we have already problems with Huawei. We made some contests, for instance, in Portugal. And we have also in the military use and proposed by the war between Ukraine and Russia. And this is for winning hearts and minds, a kind of soft power in this crucial in future wars, the soft power, the hard power, and the shared power. And here we have is more the shared power to try to have the meaning and the thinking of the persons. Can you send me show the last slide? And this is very important because is what is crucial in the future wars is that we don't, and we saw that in Ukraine war, that we don't only have the hard power, the power of the weapons, but also the power of minds and the power of information. And this is what we try to tell you and to understand to our panel. Thank you very much for your attention.